much, but it was really a big deal.
It's a lot of food.
So that happened on February 23rd. And then Jolynn, she wrote a follow-up article on Monday, March 9th. And in this article, she's saying, you know, I write articles sometimes and I get a lot of response. Sometimes I write what I think is a really good article and I don't get any response. And she said that she had written that about the Albuquerque Christian Children's Home and she got like one phone call and she was pretty disappointed that other people hadn't really followed up. The truth of what was really going on is that since the column was published, the home has received more than $20,000 in cash donations. It's received over $1,000 worth of grocery gift cards. It's gotten 3,000 pounds of donated meat and other food items. It was 1,200 pounds that they lost in the freezer going kaput, and they received 3,000 pounds of donated meat and other food items and about $5,000 worth of parts and labor to totally revamp what had been a 20-year-old walk-in freezer. Big corporations gave generously, among them Albertson Smiths and U.S. Food Services, and others asked not to remain anonymous, to not have their name published. And they got an extreme freezer makeover, including snazzy sanitary metal racks to replace the bloodied and bacteria-infested handmade wooden racks. And that was donated by Ed's Refrigeration, Johnstone Supply, and Tri-Light Electric. American Legion and other organizations have donated time, and a lot of local leaders from these organizations have given not only money but time as well. So she was thinking, nobody in the community cares. They're not calling me about this article. The calls and the donations were going straight to the home. And this little home,
A+ Albuquerque.
Yeah, it's cared for more than 500 kids on the west side in the Montano Plaza since 1969, but it's not a really well-known charity that happens in Albuquerque. 500 kids, and all of this food and money was donated to help the kids out in the home. I just felt so good. And there's one thing she wrote in the article. It's a quote from Mr. Padden, who works at the center. He said, "We had a dude the other day who drove up in a beat-up old van who looked like he needed the money more than we did, but he pulled out $24 and gave it to me," he said. He felt emotionally motivated to give. So I read that and I was like, A+ Albuquerque. Way to go. Way to support each other in this time. And she ends this article with saying it was really sweet and amazing and inspiring and gratifying to know that no matter how bad it has gotten out there, there's always just a little something left in the pocket to give someone who needs it even more.
It's so inspiring.
It
I love
is.
that story. That's a great story.
And I'd like to add as well that no matter how bad it is in any situation, there's always something to give, whether it's monetary or time or energetically, whether it's a smile or a kind word or letting somebody, get in front of you in line to get on the freeway or whatever it is. There's always something to give. And in giving, we receive so much and in just good spirits and feeling good. So, things are going on out there. We can still feel good. We can still help each other out.
It's true. So make somebody's day. Make your own day. It comes back double-fold, triple-fold, tenfold. It really does.
It really does. So we actually have a show today to do. We've kind of talked about our little current events.
What's current events? That's okay. We're in Albuquerque. You're talking about Albuquerque.
Good feeling current events. So today's show is about positive self-talk.
Yeah, what a great concept.
So positive self-talk is really a practiced way of being to reverse and change the limiting beliefs that we have that often come up in that little chatterbox in our head that talks to us and says not so positive things some of the time. So we have a clip of Dr. Dr. Shad Helmstetter,
Right.
talking exactly what positive self-talk is and why it's important. So if you want to fill in for a minute while I cue that up there, Mitchell.
I love the way he talks about, because I know a lot of people, a friend of mine, Chris, used to talk about these little people on her shoulders, the good little person and the evil little person that used to talk to her, and she would actually look over and talk to them as they were having these little chats back and forth, and it used to crack me up. And I love on this little clip he talks about it. It's Fred Flintstone, the little people that Fred Flintstone used to talk to. So It's a great clip. Enjoy. You ready?
Yes, we're ready. Or maybe, here we go.
Okay.
Every single message you got, everything that was said to you, everything you heard, everything you saw, everything you did, everything you thought about, every message you got was typed into your personal computer keyboard. That would be our five senses. And then those messages typed into your computer keyboard were recorded on your CD-ROM in your brain. So very much like a computer, every message that you got while you were growing up gets recorded and stored permanently in the brain. The reason that's important to know is that part of the brain that recorded all of those messages you got, that part of the brain didn't know the difference between, and doesn't know the difference between something that is true or false or right or wrong or positive or negative. Its job is simply to record all of those messages that we got from other people, and then we began to repeat those exact same kinds of messages to ourselves, and that's called self-talk. There's something called the law of repetition, and the law of repetition is the secret to the secret of self-talk, and here's how it works. Every time you get a message and it's recorded again, it gets stronger. And then you get the message again, and it gets stronger still. So that those minor pathways in our brain that are being created by us getting different messages from the people around us, when those messages get repeated by someone else, and then to ourselves with our own self-talk, those pathways become roadways, and then the roadways become highways, and some of those highways become interstate highways, and those are the major programs that govern our lives. So whatever programs you have right now, that's who you are. That's who you've become. It's not that you were born that way. You were born with unlimited potential, but we become the programs that we get most. We all got programmed. I got programs. I remember one that I'll never forget that affected my entire life. It was my programs about weight. I used to weigh a great deal. And I tried every possible diet, and I said all of the wrong things to myself. And I thought this weight problem would never go away. I would try another diet. I actually got really good at dieting. But then the weight would always come back, and of course it would always bring its friends, and so I would fail at another diet. Well, at that time I was studying this thing called self-talk, and how Eastern European athletes who were competing in the Olympics had full-time self-talk trainers who were literally giving them new messages about themselves and how they can win, and what a winning, capable person they were. And I thought, if Olympic athletes can have full-time self-talk trainers to literally help them win gold medals, then what about the Olympics of weight loss, which was my problem? So I spent months writing brand new self-talk, and then had it recorded professionally in a recording studio. And I will never forget the day that I first got those new programs home, those self-talk cassettes. They were on cassettes in those days. And the first day I listened to them, I decided to play self-talk in the background. The sessions are only about 10 to 12 minutes in length. But I decided to play them while I was shaving each morning, and so that's what I did. Every morning I would shave and play the self-talk. Shave, play the self-talk. The next morning, shave and play the self-talk. And what happened was, during the next 10 and a half weeks, I lost 38 pounds shaving and playing self-talk in the background. And this time, I wasn't on a diet. What was especially interesting to me was that during the same 10 and a half weeks that I had been shaving every morning and losing the 38 pounds, during the same 10 and a half weeks, my wife, who was putting on her makeup at the other end of the same mirror each morning, lost 25 pounds eavesdropping on my self-talk. That was a number of years ago. As a matter of fact, that was over 20 years ago. I've never been on a diet since. I never will be. And it was self-talk. I changed the problem. I changed the programs that had caused the problem in the first place.